three missteps, 3 meal building missteps when weight loss is your goal, you guys. When it comes to meal building for weight loss, I see very often that there is a disconnect. So what I mean by that is there are people that understand at a fundamental level how they need to eat in order to produce significant and sustainable weight loss. They get it. I need protein. I need veggies. I got to manage my starch. Like, they get it. They've heard it. They know it. And sometimes they think they're doing everything right and they're not getting results. And here are some of the things that I see when it comes to meal building. Some sneaky little things that we're doing wrong, you guys, that keep you from getting results. Number 1 meal building misstep, you guys, that I see is having predominantly carbohydrate meals. So that is absolutely a misstep if your primary goal is weight loss. The reason why, you guys, is because when there is an abundance of carbohydrate intake, your body is going to be less likely to burn fat. When you are overdoing it on the carbohydrates, your body is not going to burn fat. So one of the key ways that you fix that without getting, ridiculously obsessive in MyFitnessPal and tracking every single meal is just making sure that you are not eating meals or snacks that are just predominantly carbohydrate, okay? Misstep number 2, you guys, is oversized portions of healthy food. And this could even be oversized portions of figure-friendly food. So this is for you guys if you've already graduated past the point of having primarily carbohydrate meals. You understand why that's not beneficial and you're not doing that anymore, and you're being careful to include your protein, etc. However, because you have built your meal in a figure-friendly way, you feel like the amounts don't count. So the amounts do count, you guys, and I see this also all the time. Eating way past 80% of fullness. Here's the deal. By the time you feel 80% full, you are 100% full. There's a delayed response. So communication between your stomach and brain, it takes a little while. So if you wait until you feel full to stop, you are already overstuffed. Okay, you got that? So overeating healthy food or even figure-friendly food or even foods that are beneficial for significant sustainable weight loss, if you eat too much of them, then you guys, that's a meal building misstep, and it's still going to result in not having results. So how that looks is like having, maybe for a meal, let's say you eat 3 meals a day and you eat a snack as well. The way that looks, the way that misstep looks is having maybe an 8 ounce or 10 ounce piece of meat. You go out to eat and they give you double chicken breasts and you eat them all. And you're still eating, multiple times per day. So it's not like you're making up for your protein intake because maybe you only eat 2 or 3 times a day. You're following a model where you're eating 3 times a day and eating 1 or 2 snacks, and your protein is the size of your head instead of the size of your palm. Or you heard that healthy fats were good for you, and so you have a can of nuts at your desk and you go through that can every other day. You have to get a new can every other day. So that is absolutely a meal building misstep. Having too much of figure-friendly foods, having too much of foods that actually are beneficial for weight loss, but just not, it doesn't make them free foods. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Number 3 is building your meal without any consideration to what you have eaten already that day and what you will eat for the rest of the day. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. It's a little bit similar to overeating healthy foods, but not totally. So in order to eat in a way that is going to support significant and sustainable weight loss, in order to eat in a way that's going to create a caloric deficit as well as balance out your hormones so that you have both conditions necessary for significant sustainable weight loss, in order to do that, there's a few things that you're going to want to do. So you want to make sure you're optimizing your protein intake. You want to optimize your vegetable intake. You also want to adapt a starch management strategy that is right for you. So what that means is some people can eat more starchy carbohydrates than others. Some people need less. Some people do better on fruit. Some people do better on things like potatoes or rice. So that's an art in and of itself. But whatever your strategy is, whatever it is that your plan is, when you build a meal, it's necessary to consider what else you've eaten that day or what else you will eat. Because it's perfectly possible to create appropriately portion-sized meals. It's entirely possible to create meals that are not solely carbohydrate and still miss the mark with your weight loss goals. Simply because you're building each meal in a vacuum and you're not considering what else is consumed that day. So the way that looks, you guys, is maybe you have, a serving and a half of protein, and you have veggies, and you have a serving of starch, and you have, half a serving or a serving of fat. But you do that 3 to 4 times a day or 4 to 5 times a day every single time you eat. Well, there was nothing inherently wrong with any particular meal. However, in concert, they did not support significant sustainable weight loss, because over the course of the day, you've had maybe 4 or 5 servings of fat and 4 or 5 servings of carbohydrate and 6 or 7 servings of protein. And overall, that was just too much fuel for your body. So I say it all the time, but you cannot fuel like an Olympic athlete and work out like a weekend warrior and still expect weight loss. It doesn't happen.